So the reason why you are suffering is because you are thinking too small. Your thoughts are so shallow. That is why you are competing. You are trying to get attention. You're seeking. You're trying to fight for the same little space. Why don't you be bigger? Most of you, your prayer topics, instead of asking God continually, I think the wise thing to do is to ask the Lord, what do you want me to do? And it will take off the burden. Sometimes most people don't want to ask God, what do you have for me? Because they think that if the Lord showed whatever the Lord is going to show them, it's not something they are ready to do. Meanwhile, that is the ticket to their freedom. Guess some of the prayers, I know somebody that there are a lot of people that even when it comes to relationship, they are always praying for favor. They see kind of people and they wonder, they see kind, and all of the time they are dying for it. Meanwhile, in reality, you know that even if God grants you such grace with that person, your attitude, you don't have what it takes, you don't have the finance, you don't have the character, the emotional distance to sustain you. You roost. So why that? Start thinking big. Start thinking big. Some of you that keep praying about school fees. Aren't you tired? Can't you pray for an idea that will change your life? Some of you that keep praying for the right partner. Why don't you pray to the Lord to grant you ideas in a way you can build? Because you've been in one relationship before, 2 and 3, and the same pattern is being repeated. Now you are praying for favor. Now you are praying for a certain kind of stupid person who will just accept you the way you are. And you are suffering. There are some of you, you are going through certain setback in your sickness. You know you are supposed to start exercising. You know you are supposed to reduce the drug intake. You know you are supposed to pray. You know you are supposed to meditate on the word. But you are thinking so shallow that I can do this thing. They are reserved for some special. It's suffering. Think about this. You are doing a job, and the little money that come on board, you fight. I know a particular administrator, and he steals all the time. He's always holding the Bible, yet he's lying all the time. I pity him so much. The Lord sometimes show a lot about him to me, and I pity him. I pity him. Meanwhile, he's a preacher. He's suffering. So can't you do something? Every time for any penny, he's thinking how to cunningly, even if it means causing you to die or causing you to lose your job, whatever. Poverty leads to wickedness. Poverty. So the poor is dangerous. So deliver yourself from that mindset. Think about a guy or a lady who is interested in another guy or lady and they want a date. They are interested though, not that they are not interested. And once they get close to the person, the first thought that comes to mind is, how do I deceive this person to trust me? Or how do I get the best from this person? Or how do I manipulate this person so that they bend to my will? Think about it. Rich people don't think this way. Mature people don't think this way. Great people don't think this way. So that is why you keep suffering. Because the only people that can sustain and play such games are people that also think like you, shallow-minded people. So if you start thinking big, you will solve most of your problem. Your prayer request, about 90% of your prayer requests will change if you start thinking big. 90%. Some of you are thinking you have no helper, time is going, and that dream, whatever that you are thinking about, it's not happening. Hey, have you asked the question, what should I do to make it happen? Every time you are hoping, every time you try, it does not work. Yes, you are trying that, but why don't you try other options too? Why don't you do something different? Why don't you start something? Every time you are complaining, can't you change? Can't you take some responsibilities? You complain in the same house for years, and every time you complain, you have issues. Can't you change? So, shallow-minded thinking leads to suffering. Great thinking or great thoughts leads to liberty. So, every time you are suffering, often it's because you are thinking too small or too shallow.